everyone, good afternoon. Am I audible properly?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Good afternoon, all. How are you?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
So, Shablo. We'll start at 12:05. You can join others also. That's why you have login from two different devices. That's why
Yes, ma'am.
you have login from two different devices. Okay.
No, ma'am. Actually, there was an error, so I
Switch to another device. Yes, Shruti, we have to use TPS. First, TPS compulsory you have to buy, and RDC Baker, if you want, you can buy for reference. For all students, if you are not able to purchase right now, if bookstores are not open still in your areas, then I send PDF of chapter 1, TPS PDF, so you can refer those notes. Okay? If you don't have book and if you can't go out, then it's perfectly all right, no need to go. Then I send PDF of chapter 1 which I'm going to start today. Okay? So many students have joined, so I can. Okay, no problem, Shruti. Whenever TPS is available, you can see most of the questions are from TPS only, and all previous board questions are there in TPS. So I would prefer that you all should buy TPS. Yes, you can buy later on. I'll send PDF. I've already sent, I think, in your group also. Okay, so we can start. Uh, See, today we are going to start first
2 मिनट
chapter,
अभी चालू हो गया.
Introduction to
अब
Microprocessor
बोला 2 मिनट.
and Organization of 8085. Everyone mute yourself, otherwise I have to mute. Everyone, I request you to mute yourself. Rahul, okay? If you have any query, you can ask or you can write in chat box also. So today we are going to start first chapter, that is Introduction to Microprocessor and Organization of 8085. So I made PPT for that, so I'll share screen with you. So you just see how it works. If it is okay, then we will continue with PPT pattern only. Understood? Shares. I can't send the pic of TPS front page because every year it is changing. Okay, so today we will start with first chapter, Introduction to Microprocessors and Organization of 8085. This is our first chapter. We have already done chapter 5, Networking. And this chapter and the second chapter based on 8085 microprocessor. So first, you should know the definition of microprocessor. See, these two chapters are very important from both point of view because 60% syllabus is covered by these two chapters. First chapter and the second chapter is also connected to this. So it is very necessary to you should know this chapter. If you are able to understand this chapter, then only you will be able to understand second chapter. So we'll start with this first chapter, that is, and first question I'm covering, that is what is microprocessor and list its function. What is microprocessor and list? This is very important board question. So in what is microprocessor, you need to write the definition of microprocessor. So what is microprocessor actually? Microprocessor is, if I read this statement, then you will not understand. I will go with this equation 2 plus 3 is equals to 5. See what your computer is doing. Computer is basically processing your data. Means the data which you are giving from input device, it will process the data according to the instruction and gives you result. That is the main function of your computer. So computer is performing or processing part. The same microprocessor is basically the inside part of your computer. So microprocessor is what it is doing. It is taking data here, and from equation if you can see 2 plus 3. So what is your data? 2 and 3. These two are your data. So from where you will get this data? From input device. And this is your instruction. Plus is your instruction that is stored somewhere in the memory. So after processing the data, you are getting result which you will display at output. So with the help of this equation, you can define microprocessor. That microprocessor is a semiconductor multi-purpose programmable logic device that read binary instructions. Okay, so this is your instruction plus that read binary instruction from a device, storage device called memory, and accept binary data. What is your data? 2 and 3, but it should be in binary form. So 2 and 3 is your data which you are accepting from input. And this processing and addition of these two terms is done by processor and the data according to the instruction and provides result. So this is basic definition of microprocessor, that it will take instruction from memory. Means you have stored already some instructions in memory. You are taking data 2 and 3 from input device and process the data according to the instruction and gives you result. So with the help of this simple instruction, you can learn the definition of microprocessor. So in this chapter and in next chapter, you will use this operand word for data. Operand is called data. Okay, 2 and 3 are binary data. It is also called operand. So whenever you will write for data, you have to use operand. And for instruction, which word you will use? Opcode. Opcode stands operational code. Understood this concept? So this is basic definition of microprocessor, that it will take data from input device, take instruction from memory and process the data according to the instruction and gives you result. That is the basic definition of microprocessor. So when a question is there in your board exam, you will write this definition, and along with this definition you will write or draw the block diagram of microprocessor. So this is block diagram of microprocessor. Microprocessor basically consists of three main parts. What are those parts? ALU. ALU. You must have done this in your primary or secondary classes. ALU stands for arithmetic and logic unit. Okay, this is the main processing part of your microprocessor. So what do you mean by arithmetic over here, and what do you mean by logic unit? Arithmetic means all arithmetic operations. You know all arithmetic operation: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, increment, decrement. All those operations performed by arithmetic. But since uh, we have to study about 8085 microprocessor, which is manufactured by Intel company. Okay, so this is very old microprocessor. It is designed in the year of 1976. So that is the basic architecture. That's why we are studying till now this. Based on this, we have advanced microprocessor. So in our 8085 microprocessor, we cannot perform all operation. We can perform only addition, subtraction, multiplication we cannot perform, and division we cannot perform. The two: addition, subtraction, increment and decrement operations we can perform, but we cannot perform multiplication and division. So can anybody tell, uh, if I don't have any plus product sign or multiplication operation, then how I can perform multiplication without multiplication? You must have done in your small classes in first second standard. You have done this method, that how to perform multiplication. Anyone, any idea about that? Can anyone tell how to perform multiplication? So if I say, if you multiply 2 into 4, how will you do without multiplication? You will add 2
We will
4 times. Yes.
Add 2 4 times.
Yes, very good. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 means by successive addition we can perform multiplication. Means we don't have direct instruction. See, this is not your normal microprocessor where you can execute any kind of word. Means like in your normal computer, means you have C++ programming, and they're understanding your language. No. In this you have to learn its language, its instruction set. The second chapter is based on this. This is not high level language, this is assembly language, which is in between machine and high level language. So for this you have to learn its instruction. So we have 74 instructions which you need to learn if you want to write program for this microprocessor. Okay, so we can't perform multiplication, so we can perform multiplication in 8085 with the help of programming. We don't have any direct instruction. Like for addition we have add instruction, like for subtraction we have sub instruction, sub, but we don't have any multiplication and division instruction. So here arithmetic means addition, subtraction, increment and decrement operation. And now what is logical operation? We have already done all logical operation in 11th standard. What are they? Anyone?
And or not.
And or not. Very good. And operation, or operation, XOR operation, and one's complement operation. And we can have more. In this we have more instructions for comparison, compare instruction and rotate instruction. So these are logical operations or relational operation that we can perform with the help of logical unit. handling. So ALU is basically performing your processing part. Understood? Now next is register. This word register, uh, this word register is basically just like your notebook. Okay, register भी बोलते हो ना आप अपने notebook को. What is the use of notebook? Notebook is basically used to store data. आप data store करने के लिए उसको use करते हो अपनी information store करने के लिए. So same for register. For computer we have register to store data. Okay, we have written this instruction 2 plus 3 is equals to 5. So here what is 2 plus 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 3 is your data. Okay, so when you are giving data for processing, it will not go directly from input device to ALU. This 2 and 3 will transfer to register, and from register it will transfer to ALU. Understood? So whatever is just like just like today's nowadays we are using which processor? i3, i5, i7, 10th generation. These are processor which we are using currently. So here in this register we have cache memory. So your cache memory, in this we have register. So whatever the current thing you are doing, it should transfer into register. So this 2 and 3 will transfer into register. From register it will transfer to ALU, and after processing your result 5 again will transfer to register, and from this register it will go to output. Clear this point of. So what is the basic definition of register? So register is a storage device which is used to store data temporarily during the execution of program. This is not wrong. This is just like your RAM where you can rewrite again and again. Understood this concept? What is register? Register is basically a storage place where you can store data temporarily during the execution of your program. Okay. Now the third unit, control unit. Okay. Control unit provides timing and control signal. See when to give data, uh, for from input to register, and when to give data from register to ALU, and from ALU to again register, and from register to output. So this data flow, the timing, when to give and when to give data from one place to another, that timing is controlled by control unit. ठीक है ना. कुछ भी if I'm doing something, so we need to set time, just like your today's lecture. So we have been allotted a time that 12 o'clock we have lecture. So we have time, so that's why we all are synchronized. हम सब एक ही टाइम पर एक काम करने लगे. The same way for computer also, if all peripherals are connected with processor, so all should work together. When means when input will work, when output will work, when processing is to be done, that everything is controlled by control unit. So this is basic diagram, block diagram of microprocessor. So whenever this question is there, what is microprocessor? So you will have to write what? First definition, and then compulsory draw this diagram of microprocessor. Okay, so this is we have three words which we are going to use in this syllabus: microprocessor, microcomputer, and microcontroller. We have separate chapter for microcontroller, fourth chapter. So you should know the difference, because now it's okay, you are studying microprocessor, अभी आप microprocessor ही पढ़ रहे हो, तो you are very clear that this is this. But when it is in exam, we are asking for features of microcontroller. Students are writing features of microprocessor. We are asking for diagram of microcomputer. They are drawing the diagram of microprocessor. So this should not happen. So first you have to read your question carefully. The what is question? Which is for microprocessor or microcontroller or microcomputer. So this is microprocessor. I'll show you the difference between microprocessor and microcomputer. See, this is your microprocessor only chip, which is doing processing part, but it is not connected with any input and output. We need input to give data, na? And we need output to display data or to storage to store data. But here nothing. So alone it cannot work. But microcomputer in this, see, ALU, see, this is ALU. Here you have ALU. This is register, which here you can say it is a higher main memory. Control unit, control unit. So what about this input, auxiliary, output? These are called peripherals that should be connected. So that then only it will work properly. Alone microprocessor cannot do anything. So this is your microcomputer, and microprocessor is a single chip, and microcomputer is your complete unit, full-fledged computer which you have input, output, and storage like hard disk and other storage devices. So understood the difference between microprocessor and microcomputer. Now, is it okay? Are you getting properly? समझ आ रहा है सबको?
Yes, miss.
So should I move to
Yes,
next
ma'am.
slide? Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this? So should I move to next slide?
Yes, miss. Next slide.
So this is your second part of your question. But what was the question? What is microprocessor? List its function. So these 4 functions you need to write in this. No 1 page, 2 page essay I don't want. Only these 4 lines or 4 sentences should be there in your exam. So functions of microprocessor or same functions of microcomputer. If both question is sometime it is there, write the functions of microcomputer, then also you need to write these 4 questions, because microprocessor and microcomputer both are doing same thing. Only difference, it is a single chip and microcomputer is a complete unit, but the function will remain same. So now what is first function? The first function is just your definition of microprocessor. It fetch it fetch, decode, and execute instruction. Now this word is new for you, fetching. Fetching means, so where is your instruction? Instruction is in memory, permanently stored in memory. Just like your 8085 microprocessor, you have how many instructions? 74 instructions. That is your second chapter part. 74 instruction you have, and all are stored somewhere in the ROM. Permanently it is done by manufacturer. So fetching means reading instruction from memory. Means you are reading instruction from memory. This is done by microprocessor. You are not doing anything. You have given a program. You have written the instruction. When you press execute button, it will execute your instruction. It will take one by one instruction from memory. So fetching means reading instruction from memory. So when it is when you have read the instruction, or microprocessor had read the instruction, then decoder unit will decode the instruction. For example, in your first example, 2 plus 3 is equals to 5. So what is plus? Plus is your instruction. It is there in your memory, like add instruction. So you are reading that instruction, that is called fetching. Then decoder unit will decode the instruction, that what is the operation behind that instruction. If it is add, okay, means we need to perform add addition for 2 numbers which will come from input. And execute means processing. After decoding, now processor knows that this is add addition, so it will add 2 numbers which is coming from input, and that is called processing. Addition of 2 number is processing. That is called execution and displaying result. So this is your just like basic definition of microprocessor, that fetching instruction, decoding instruction, and execute means the main job of microprocessor to process those instructions. Understood? So that is the first very important function of microprocessor: fetch, decode, and execute instruction. Now next is second instruction: transfer data from one block to another block, or from one block to input output line. See, if I said process the data, so from where you are getting the data, from input devices you are getting the data. So how it will reach to ALU? It will reach to ALU by some communication medium, na? And that communication medium or transmission medium is called bus. Okay, we will have a next topic with this bus structure of 8085 microprocessor. So what is bus? Bus is basically used to transfer data or address or control signal, anything from one place to another. So this control, the control of buses, the control of buses is done by microprocessor. So that is second function of microprocessor, to transfer data from one block to another, or from one block to IO lines. IO means input output devices. The main thing is to control the transfer of data. It is handled by microprocessor, or control of buses is with microprocessor. Now I'm going directly with the fourth point. Third point I'll explain later. Control and timing signal. Control and timing signal. If you have seen in the previous slide, block diagram of microprocessor, we have control unit. So I have already explained what is control unit. It provides timing and control signal. Timing and control signal is provided by microprocessor. So this is also the main function of microprocessor, that it will provide timing and control signals to the whole system according to the instruction. That is third function of microprocessor. Now fourth function, that is it handles the interrupt to give proper response to different externally produced interrupt. Anyone can tell me the meaning of interrupt? What is interrupt? We have already done in 11th standard. Follow.
To stop the process and let a new process, another process get to stop our data flowing from a wire, and add another something, and allow another data to flow through the wire.
That is okay, but not exactly. But ठीक है, you have tried. थोड़ा सा याद है 11th का. Interrupt is basically to communicate with peripheral, if I say. See, input and output device doing their work, processor is doing its processing part. But if input wants to communicate with microprocessor, or output wants to communicate with microprocessor, so how they will communicate? They need to stop its processing. Na? Microprocessor is doing its own work, so it will stop, peripherals will stop. So how they will stop? By sending some signal. The interrupt is basically a signal or a small program which we called ISR, interrupt service routine. A small service routine is written for each interrupt. So that interrupt is basically initiated by peripheral, so they can communicate with microprocessor. Otherwise, microprocessor will do its own work. It will not see what is happening with input and output device. If input wants to do something, some word or some response from microprocessor, they need to stop microprocessor. The microprocessor is stopped by peripheral with the help of interrupts. Okay, so it will send interrupt signal, then microprocessor will stop its work and it will give service to that particular peripheral, and after giving service to that peripheral it will come back to its original one. So it is not an error. Many students are writing that it is an error. No, it is not an error. It is basically a signal which is used for communication purpose. So we have a big topic with interrupt of 8085 microprocessor. So we have two types of interrupt, hardware interrupts and software interrupts. So when we are communicating with external devices, means input, output, memory, then it is called hardware interrupt. And when microprocessor is stopping itself, means you have given some program and there is an error in the program, the microprocessor need to stop now. So it will stop by itself, and that is done by software interrupt. Okay, so it is handled by microprocessor. So these are very important 4 points, and these 4 points only you need to write in your exam. No need to write 1 page, 2 page theory, nothing. If the question is there, two types of question is there. What is microprocessor? List its function. So in that you will write the definition of microprocessor, then you will draw the diagram of microprocessor, and then in function you will write these 4 functions. And sometimes the question is there, list the functions of microcomputer. Then also you need to write these 4 points. Understood? So what are those points? Fetch, decode and execute instruction. It helps to transfer data from one place to another. It provides timing and control signal, and it handles all types of interrupt. So these are main 4 functions of microprocessor. Understood? Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So should I move to next question? I'm doing this with question wise. I'll cover full chapter and with both questions. So it will help you to learn as well as to write. Okay, and it is there in your TPS. All questions are given in your TPS also. So should I move to next question? Any doubt in this?
No, ma'am.
So we'll move to next slide.
Okay, ma'am.
So next is evolution of microprocessor. So this is also very important second question. Here in this you will write all of generations. कब से microprocessor start हुए and till now which microprocessor you are using. So we have divided all microprocessor in 5 generation. तो ये question देखने में बहुत ऐसे लगता है कि क्या है ये question, but every time mostly if you see in your TPS board papers are given. So if you see this question is there almost every year or alternate year. So this is very important question. You have to learn this question. So in this question, you should be very much clear about the number of the microprocessor. See, this is number 4004. So this we have many manufacturer. Intel manufacturer is there, Motorola manufacturer is there, one Xylo company is also there. So if you can't learn all companies numbers, so at least you should know Intel microprocessor, because till now we are using Intel microprocessor. 90% market is with Intel microprocessor. तो इंटेल का ही एक एग्जाम्पल भी अगर आप हर जनरेशन का लिखते हैं, then you will get full marks. Okay, so Intel introduced 4004 microprocessor. So this number should be matched with your generation, and this part, it is 4-bit microprocessor. 4-bit means it is called word size of microprocessor, means how many bits it can process at a time. 4-bit means how many combinations we can make. We can make 2 raised to the power 4. How many combinations we can make with the help of 4 bit? We have done in 11th standard now.
16.
16 combination, right? Very good. So we have a words of 16. We have 16 combination and we have that language. Okay, we can give only 16 instructions to this processor. So if I want to write, let's say 1 means how many unique combination you are making. So suppose if I want to write 1 over here, so I should write with 0, 0, 0 and 1. Okay, this is one of your combination. If it is 4 bit, because all are in binary, bit means binary dozen. So if I want to write 3, so what will be the combination? 0, 0, 1, 1. That is your 3. Understood? So this way we have a words of 16 words we can have, which we can, or 16 instructions we can give to this microprocessor. So earlier it was designed for calculators, okay, and it was designed in 1971. So 3 things: 4004, the number of microprocessor, what is the word size of microprocessor, how many bits it can process, and the year in which it was designed. That 3 things should match with your generation. Okay. So in 1972, again they have designed one more microprocessor, that is 8008. That was 8-bit general purpose microprocessor. With the development of LSI technology, LSI is large scale integration technology, means how many gates I can fabricate in single chip. That is called technology. So we have large scale integration, very large scale integration, super large scale integration, like that. So that time it was LSI. Now we are in the super scalar integration. Okay, with 45 instructions. Understood? So 8-bit has to means 2 raised to the power 8. How many combinations I can make? 2 raised to the power 8. How many combinations I can make? 256. Okay. So out of that, 45 is 45 they have used as instructions. Understood this concept? Second way, second generation microprocessor. Second generation microprocessor, our 8085 belongs to this generation. See, our syllabus, the first 2 chapters, or we can say the 60% portion is based on this 8085 microprocessor, which was from second generation and it was designed in 1976. And it is 8-bit microprocessor. Okay, this is 8-bit. The word size of this microprocessor is 8-bit. So one question is there, later on we will do, write the features of microprocessor. 8085 features of microprocessor. So these, you can make 2 features. It is 8-bit microprocessor. It is, one feature is this, that it is 8-bit microprocessor. In second generation only, we were able to design microcontroller. I told you now we have 3 words: microprocessor, microcomputer, and the third word is microcontroller. What is the meaning of microcontroller? We have full chapter, but that chapter is very small on microcontroller. See, microcontroller is basically itself is a complete computer, but on a single IC. It has a small processing power, it has CPU inside, it has ROM inside, it has RAM inside, it has everything, ports directly where you can connect directly your input output thing. So means it is a complete small computer in a single chip, and it is used only to perform a dedicated function. Just like your microwave, for example, you have microwave at your home. So if you want to control the function of microwave, then आपको कंप्यूटर की जरूरत है पूरी? No, you don't require the full-fledged computer. Why? Because you need to control only one dedicated function, which we need to control input, what user is giving. User is just setting the time and just setting the program, and that program program we need to program in that chip. Okay, so we have to do programming for that particular chip, and then that chip we can place in that hardware, just like your washing machine, just like your electronic toys, just like your drill machine. Everything which is digitally controlled, that is with microcontroller. In that we have microcontroller chip which is designed according to that device. It is not doing all general purpose function, just like your computer is doing everything, document work, net, everything. But microwave is doing anything like that? No. It is just doing whatever the program is there. You just set the program, set the time, and you will get the cooked dish. So that particular function you need to control. For that you don't require full-fledged computer. So for that we have a single chip which we will program according to that device. So that development of microcontroller was also there in second generation. So these are two generation. Next, third generation. Third generation was 16-bit microprocessor. It was 16-bit microprocessor and the name was 8086. See, from these generation, third generation to fifth generation, these are called advanced microprocessor. First two generation was normal basic microprocessor. From third generation, from 8086, the architecture was different. Okay, so that is there in your one more chapter, small chapter is there, introduction to x86 family. So 86 means it is start from this 86. So 8086, 80286, 80386, 80486, 80586. Okay, these are advanced microprocessor. So we have small chapters just like microcontroller, 4-5 marks का weightage है उस chapter का. There we will study all advanced microprocessor. So in this 16-bit, if you can see earlier was 4-bit, second क्या आया 8-bit, अब next क्या है 16-bit, next fourth generation is 32-bit, and fifth generation nowadays we are using which microprocessor? i7, 10th generation. So that is also 64-bit microprocessor. So if you can see that every time the word size is double. The first 4004 was 4-bit, 8085 was 8-bit. Now 8086 is 16-bit, 80386, 8086, 80186, 80286. All are 16-bit microprocessor. 80386, 80486, these are 32-bit microprocessor. And Pentium of fifth generation, मतलब जहाँ से start हुआ जिसको हम we can say 80586. After 80486, the next was 80586, which we are calling Pentium. So Pentium 1, Pentium 2, Pentium 3, Pentium 4. These are the versions with some, we can say some new facilities like the speed is more, processing power is more. We have Pentium 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then afterwards, Intel designed Core 2 Duo. Now we have Core i3, i5, i7 processor. So till now we are in the era of fifth generation. So these are 5 generation which you need to write in your exam when this question is there. And every time if you see this question is there, लगता बहुत फालतू सा question है, but this question is very very important. Write all generation of microprocessor by giving one example each. ऐसे question आते हैं तो सब में you will give example of Intel. So you no need to write for Motorola, Zilog, HP. If you can learn, that is also additional very good. But if you can't, then you should be very much clear with the size, year and the number that should match with that generation. Otherwise, you will not get marks. Understood? So this is your second question. Are you getting all properly? Is it okay with this PPT and all that pattern?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, miss.
So can I continue with this pattern only in the next
Yes, ma'am.
class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
So
can you send this PPT in group?
Yes.
PPT I will send, and I will send TPS PDF also.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, so I'm ending meeting here only because you have next lecture also, no?
No.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Have or not? But I'm having 1 o'clock. I'm having. Okay. So any doubt if you have, so you can ask. So TPS I will send Shreyas. Abhishek, do we have to write it? If you can write, it will be very good if you can maintain one notebook for that. One question I am discussing, these two questions today I have discussed. If you want, you can write. You can make your own notes. That will be good for me. Repeated at. Can you send the presentation? I will send as well. But I prepared for 2 lectures. I will send for 2 lectures. Okay. Okay, then see you all in the next lecture. I'm ending this meeting.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
मैं लीव कर देना